Guys, welcome back to Between the Ropes TV. Look, we're finishing the year on such a high and we're getting closer and closer to 200 subs now. The support lately has been absolutely fantastic. So before I jump straight into the video, make sure to help us out, hit that like button and also subscribe to the channel as well whilst you're there. Look, Fighter of the Year 2021. Now, boxing in general, it's been a bit of a frustrating year, obviously, with the coronavirus still having an effect, which means a lot of fighters have been, especially the big stars, they've been kind of reduced to one fight a year. I'm sure quite a few we would have wanted to see, basically in more fights and maybe a few more competitive ones as well. But we saw in the latter part of the year things really getting back to normal, and hopefully that will continue in 2022. And we'll start to see some of the bigger fights that we really want. But of course, choosing Fighter of the Year when it comes to 2021, a lot of these are potentially going to be based on just one fight a year. I am going to go with the top five, my top five. Please let me know in the comments if you disagree. Have I missed anyone out in general? And let me know your order in the comments as well and why. So let's jump straight in. Number five, that has to go for Terence Crawford for me. Now, people may think and may put him slightly higher than position five. Of course, I only had the one fight in the year. That was against Porter. The reason I put him at number five, more not really his fault. Obviously, free weight world champion now. But we've seen, and we're just seeing what we really want to hopefully see in the future, that Crawford, Errol Spence Jr. battle. But in this year, obviously, he only fought Porter, and Porter, a very respected fighter. But the reason I've put him in at number five is because he did retire, Porter did, at the end of the fight, after getting beaten. There was also questions. I think his father came out and basically said that he wasn't training right for the fight. And there were suggestions maybe, was this a last payday for Porter, really, with him going in wanting to do battle and actually get the win. So it's a little harsh, but I've put Crawford at number five for that reason. Moving on to number four, and someone that was a bit unlucky not to get a shout for BBC Sports Personality of the Year. I don't think he got any recognition at all, actually, to be honest, and that is Josh Taylor. Obviously, unification at the super lightweight level, beating Jose Carlos Ramirez, wasn't it, back in May, and undefeated at that level to bring the super lightweight, super lightweight unification. And as I say, could have been a potential for Sports Personality of the Year. I was quite surprised he didn't even really get much recognition at all for his achievements. Of course, sometimes, I think that fight was in May, wasn't it? So you maybe wonder, maybe the eyes weren't on him at that point. And maybe if he'd gotten another fight towards the end of the year, then maybe things would have been slightly different regarding that. But let's jump on to another British man, Englishman, and that is Tyson Fury. He is coming in at number three for me. I think his unification fight over Deontay Wilder. I mean, Wilder, as we know, what a warrior he was. He was absolutely brilliant. I mean, I've never seen someone not want to give up. I mean, he just kept getting up and up and up. He threw big blows at Tyson Fury. It's a potential for a fight of the year as well. But for me, Fury, number three. Of course, it would have been great to see him back in action, and we're going to see, hopefully, him back in action come February against Dillian Whyte, or at least in the early stages of the year in 2022. Of course, we've done a video today, so go check that out. There's a bit of the WBC have screwed Dillian Whyte a little bit with the split that they're giving him. But yeah, go check that one out on the channel. But yeah, coming in at number three for that reason, getting the win against Deontay Wilder. And I thought he did it in such a fantastic way, did exactly what he said he was going to do. And he went for that knockout and he achieved that stoppage, albeit more of a TKO, wasn't it, I guess, because Wilder would have just kept on fighting and fighting, I think, if the ref hadn't stopped it, even though the bloke could barely stand. Moving on to number two. Now, number two, again, only one fight this year, but I've had to give it to Alexander Usyk, obviously now holding heavyweight championships, something which was debated whether he'd be able to make that step up. I think everyone knows that pound for pound wise, he is one of the best. But I mean, you saw in that fight against AJ, the size difference. And you really, I thought Usyk could do it. I really did. I actually predicted it. But a lot of people thought that maybe AJ would have just too much power, or just the height advantage, the reach advantage as well, being a major factor. Of course, he overcame that and achieved his dreams of becoming a heavyweight champion in beating AJ. And of course, we'll see that rematch in 2022. I think he's got to be at least second, potential contender for first, actually. It was a real throw up, but I think there is a clear favourite with that. But I think, that fight against Joshua, it weren't just his technical ability. It's not just how he handled the fight. But I enjoyed the mind games before, because people didn't pick on that so much. But I think he was really clever in what he was doing, being all friendly as usual. But, in the press conference, made it look like a bit, oh, look at Joshua. He wanted all the eyes on Joshua. He wanted that relaxed atmosphere, didn't he? So then he could go and surprise everyone. And he certainly did. So that's why he is in at number 2 for me. Now let's move on to number 1. And this is going to be no surprise, is it? Canelo. 3 fights in the year compared to everyone else on this list who only had the 1. Someone that managed to stay active in 2021. And I think that deserves credit in itself. Obviously beating Yildirim, went on to Billy Joe Saunders, and then Plant as well towards the end of the year, and become unified at super middleweight. Obviously, we know now he's potentially weighing up, moving up to up another weight to the cruiserweight level. And of course, it's been touted that Usyk might drop down in the future for those two to have a fight as well, which would be really interesting to see. But yeah, as far as 20 fighter of the year, it's got to go to Canelo for me, unifying the division. And on the way to doing that, he also beat 2 undefeated fighters in Billy Joe Saunders and Plant as well. So massive respect to him. Guys, that is my top 5. Let me know, did I miss anyone else out? Do you disagree with my order? And once again, massive thank you for the support that we've been having. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and she'll hopefully see you on the next video in the new year. Goodbye.